Good afternoon. My name is Rafael Perea. I'm the lead coordinator of the Public Safety Training Center Law Enforcement Academy. On behalf of the Tarrant County College and the Northwest Campus, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony of the Tarrant County College Police Academy Class number 200. Thank you for those joining us online for this graduating ceremony. Before we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, I want to take a second to remind everyone why it's an important part of our ceremonies. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have answered the call to defend our country and our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. Today, it is my privilege to say thank you to all of America's veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices. It is my pleasure to introduce Cadet Garcia, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order arms. Will Cadet Fearing lead us in the invocation?
If you will, please join me in prayer. Father God, I just want to thank you for providing each of us the opportunity to be here today. Lord, we are truly so grateful and so humble to be given the chance to be a part of the Academy and to persevere. It hasn't been easy, but you, Lord, have given us the strength to overcome each obstacle. So today, I pray that you watch over each of us as we start our journey as police officers. And I pray that you guide our hearts, keep us safe, and protect our families. Lord, we all know that this isn't the easiest job, and I just pray that you watch over not only us, but all officers serving, past, present, and future. And I want to close with Matthew 5:9 that says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Thank you.
It is an honor to introduce the staff of the Public Safety Training Center's Law Enforcement Academy. Our students are surrounded daily by this great talent. We are passionate about imparting the knowledge that will lead to the graduating of great officers who will protect us. I would like to recognize those who make these graduations possible, the Law Enforcement Academy staff. Coordinator Jim McGregor, Coordinator Shay King, and I would also like to recognize Chief Harris and thank you of the Stephenville Police Department for coming to deliver our keynote address. In addition to the Law Enforcement Academy staff, we are blessed to have the support and the leadership team we have at Northwest Campus. And on behalf of the Criminal Justice Training Center, I would like to extend our appreciation and recognition to those leaders. Northwest Campus President, Dr. Zarina Blankenbaker, Assistant to the President, Dr. Serafine Garcia, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Judith Gallagher, Vice President for Student Development Services, Dr. Jan Clayton. I'd also like to thank our Dean of Public Services, Dean Sonia Brown. And I'd also like to recognize Paula Stubblefield, who is our Coordinator of Public Services Programs. Because of their leadership and insight and recommendations from our advisory council, we are able to do what we do. I would also like at this time to acknowledge the efforts of Lauren Monofsky and Adriana Benavidez for their time and effort in putting this graduation together. Last but not least, Tarrant County College and the Public Safety Training Center would like to acknowledge the agencies that entrusted Tarrant County College with and supported the cadets from their agencies. Members of the Decatur Police Department under the leadership of Chief Rex Hoskins. Members of the Haltom City Police Department under the leadership of Chief Cody Phillips. Members of the Keller Police Department under the leadership of Chief Bradley Fortune. Members of the Stephenville Police Department under the leadership of Chief Dan Harris, Jr. Thank you and congratulations, Class 200.
It is important that we take a moment to reflect on the hard work, commitment, and sacrifice that it takes to complete this course of instruction. Class 200 began their journey on May 4th, 2020, and over 22 weeks, members of this class spent hours and hours learning subjects such as law and criminal procedure, arrest techniques, defensive tactics, and firearms training. We pushed them to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, to be able to stand the rigors and demands of policing. For 776 hours, over a period of 97 training days, cadets were pushed to learn, to perform, and to start thinking and acting like law enforcement professionals. It bears mentioning here that hard work was not born not only by the students, but by their families. Throughout the years, it has become very apparent to me that a key element for most of us in law enforcement, if we wish to have a productive and satisfying career, is a supportive and understanding family. The graduates themselves are justifiably proud of what they have accomplished, as they should be, and all should take a time to reflect on their success. For those who have been to our graduations before, we have started asking the classes to share a little bit about themselves. We want to make our graduations more focused to the class and the individual members. We asked Class 200 if they would mind sharing a few of these things. Some of their previous careers were as a hair salon owner-stylist, a telecommunicator, Little League baseball coach, security guard, grocery store manager, and an EMT. One cadet participated in the Police Explorer program for 4 years before being hired by the same agency. One cadet drove 194 miles round trip to the academy each day with only striking a feral hog. One cadet is a mother of one child. Another cadet lived on a ranch. Some of their hobbies included fishing, playing the guitar and piano, and building furniture. 2 cadets have associate's degrees. But most importantly, all 4 cadets passed the state licensing test on their first attempt. Congratulations.
It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Chief Dan M. Harris, Jr. Chief Harris is a native of Texas and is in the 6th of 7th generations of law enforcement officers in his family. He is named after his great-grandfather, who was shot and killed in the line of duty as a Texas Ranger in 1990. Texas Ranger. And in 1990, he began his law enforcement career as a San Angelo, Texas police officer. He also served as a law enforcement instructor for the South Plains College Criminal Justice Education Center in Levelland, Texas. In 1995, Chief Harris entered an on duty with the U.S. Border Patrol as a member of Class 286 and was the first stationed in El Paso, Texas. In 2020, he retired as the Chief of Patrol Agent of the U.S. Border Patrol Academy, where he led one of the largest law enforcement academies in the United States. He was sworn in as the Chief of Police for the Stephenville, Texas Police Department on February 4th of 2020. In 2010, Chief Harris graduated from the National Defense University's Joint Advanced Warfighting School with a master's degree in planning and strategy. In addition, he holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Angelo State University and Associates of Arts degree, along with the recognition as a distinguished alumni from the South Plains College in Levelland, Texas. Chief Harris and his wife, Katrina, have been married for over 30 years and have 2 wonderful children. Please welcome Chief Harris.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, class. Y'all with me? Good afternoon, class. Okay, good. A little bit. Well, I'm honored to stand before you I'm honored to stand before your academy leadership, your instructors, your staff, and virtually before your family members, loved ones, and special guests that are watching from afar. I began my law enforcement career over 30 years ago, and despite that fact that so much time has passed, and passed so quickly, mind you, that you have to know a rush of excitement always comes over me as I think back to the great training that I received as a member of the spring class of 1990 at the San Angelo, Texas Police Academy, and also in class number 286, as mentioned, of the U.S. Border Patrol Academy. But make no mistake about it, I started just like you did today, sitting there. And I think all four of you will agree that sitting there today is a truly awesome place to be. It is humbling that you have volunteered to take on an extremely important, demanding, challenging, and exciting position, having the ultimate responsibility to protect and serve the citizens of this great state and of your respective communities. There is no greater calling than what you have volunteered to do. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. And from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you to your spouses, your loved ones, your children, your family members, all of those who supported getting you here this afternoon. I know they're not here physically with us, but I would like for us to give them a round of applause. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you leave here today, you leave here prepared and ready to serve your communities. The importance of what you do this day forward cannot be understated. And you will face immense challenges, for the challenges facing the law enforcement profession might be as difficult today as any time ever in our history. And that the great training you received here has prepared you for these challenges. Now everyone is counting on you to be the best you can be. A top-notch professional law enforcement officer, no matter what obstacles you face, and there will be many. And I know that the Academy staff has set clear expectations for you, what are non-negotiable requirements to be a member of this great profession. Personal characteristics that render all other skills irrelevant in their absence. Integrity, commitment, dedication, discipline, teamwork, and judgment, just to name a few of them. These personal characteristics, they are not aspirational, they are foundational. They are not goals, they are requirements. They are not to be considered burdensome. They are to be considered fair and appropriate expectations of those entrusted by the public for their security and safety. I also know that you learned a great deal about the proud history and traditions of our great profession. And all of us are rightly held to those high standards established by courage and patriotism and the can-do spirit of everyone who came before us wearing a badge. Our service is especially evident in the fact that over 21,000 officers in the history of this country have been killed in the line of duty throughout our entire history. Graduates of Class 200, do not ever forget our fallen heroes. Do not ever forget their families. Do not ever forget their sacrifices. Take their courage with you on patrol. They truly are your silent partners. Let them keep you safe. Today I want to speak to you about one more thing, and that is what is a tremendous privilege, and I emphasize privilege, that we have that is unique to our profession. It is a privilege that cannot be bought or sold, it cannot be traded or manufactured, and it can only be experienced by you and those of us who are willing to serve. It is the privilege of making a positive difference in someone's life. When we, and I mean now including you too, the graduates of Class 200, when we are all doing our best work, when we are doing the most important things that law enforcement officers can do, we are doing one of two things. Again, one, we are making a positive difference in the lives of the people we serve. Or two, we are making a positive difference in the lives of the people we serve with. If we are lucky, we are doing both at the same time. And make no mistake about it, it is a privilege. And by the very nature of the work we do, it is a privilege we get to experience on a regular basis. However, like most privileges, it must be earned. hence you sitting here today. And it comes with great responsibility. It also comes with the obligation and professional duty to be prepared when the opportunity presents itself, because unlike most privileges, you will not receive advance notice of its arrival. In our line of work, that is simply not how it happens. In all likelihood, your sergeant, your supervisor, will not inform you prior to your shift. You will arrest a drug dealer. Someone may be selling marijuana, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, you name it. You won't be told that those narcotics were destined for a teenager or young adult who is struggling to figure out life and turning to narcotics for an answer. Or that the narcotics you seized would have resulted in a fatal and final decision of a confused young man or woman. But as you watch the suspect seated in the back of your Tahoe in handcuffs, you think and you realize that the only difference he or she wanted to do was to increase the size of their wallet, increase the income of a drug trafficking organization or a cartel. But you realize maybe, just maybe, your work saved the life of someone you will never ever meet. And that someone will never ever know your name. You will not receive a memorandum from someone like me, your chief, informing you that next week you will pull up to a traffic signal, a red light, only to see untrained civilians doing CPR on an elderly gentleman who is laying in the middle of the intersection in full cardiac arrest. You will retrieve the AED, the automated external defibrillator, from your unit. You will assess the elderly gentleman, and you will shock his heart back to life. And then several days later, his middle-aged daughter will approach one of your fellow officers and say the following: "Can you please tell the officer who saved my father's life thank you?" It is unfortunate, however, he never left the hospital and died 3 days later of another cardiac event. However, the ability to spend just 3 more days with my father was the best Christmas gift I have ever received in my life. There will be no notice one day when you will be giving a speech just like I am doing today, or speaking at a community service event, when shortly after you finish you will be called upon to engage in the fight for your life in a gun battle in one of the most difficult days of your life. This battle will be to save your own life, for one, to save your partner's life, and even to save someone's life you don't even know. You will be called upon to give everything you have in you to survive. Some of those with you will not survive, and when it's over, you will have to spend hours and hours picking up the pieces. Then you will have to prepare yourself mentally for what is next, because then you will go home. You will go home to your family and give them the biggest hugs you've ever given anyone in your life. You will have to mentally take care of them too, because they will struggle understanding what you just did. And lastly, you have to be ready, because not long after that, you will put your uniform back on and go do it all over again. I was fortunate to be a witness, a police officer, a Border Patrol agent, and in some cases a participant in these events and so many others. But I tell you this not to suggest my experience is anywhere near unique. Beginning on the very day you arrived here at the academy, you were among instructors and staff with these experiences and so many more. Law enforcement officers do extraordinary things every single day that make positive differences in the lives of the people we serve and protect, and especially in the lives of the people we serve with. Class 200, you will now get the opportunity to make a positive difference and experience the privilege found in the satisfaction that you have positively impacted the lives of those you serve and the lives of those you serve with. My challenge to you today is to always be ready. Always be ready when the opportunity presents itself. Keep yourself prepared mentally and physically. Uphold those personal characteristics. And if so you do, you will always be prepared to not only make a positive difference in someone's day or someone's life, but to make a positive difference in everyone's life. And I know you will do just that. You will always make those positive differences. So, ladies and gentlemen of Class 200, on behalf of the almost 700,000 law enforcement officers in this great country, welcome to our family. May God bless you. May God bless your families. May God bless the great state of Texas. May God bless this country, and I wish all of you the absolute very best. Stay safe. Thank you.
Chief Harris, on behalf of Class 200 and the Tarrant County Public Safety Training Center, I'd like to say thank you for your visiting, being with us here today, and present you with this small token of our appreciation.
Awesome. Thanks, sir. Thank you very much.
Will Class Leader Marina Salazar of the Stephenville Police Department come forward for the class speech?
Apologize in advance because I thought my speech was good. But good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us in celebrating the graduation of Class 200. With the restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've all had to adjust and adapt to several changes over the course of the past few months. With that being said, I'd like to thank the TCC staff and volunteers who took the time out of their day and to make this a memorable moment for us. Everything looks absolutely great, and we appreciate that effort. My name is Marina Salazar, and as of this morning, I am a sworn officer of the Stephenville Police Department. I know for a fact that I would not be standing here before you all if it wasn't for the support from so many. I'd like to thank my family, friends, and instructors and coordinators, my department, and most definitely the cadets of this class. While I can't name everyone individually because I would run out of time, a lot of you went above and beyond in helping me out along the way. Officer Parr, you were a tremendous help and example to me, and I thank you for always being willing to answer questions and giving me advice. You truly impacted my academy experience, and even though you didn't have to, you looked out for me. To Christy Metzger, I thank you for your listening ear, words of encouragement, and most importantly, for initially taking that chance and hiring me 2 years ago with this department. That alone changed the whole course of my life and resulted in me meeting the group of people that I've come to call my second family. To the many officers, friends, and family who have continued to support and guide me, I thank you all. To my fellow cadets, I am very proud to have trained alongside every single one of you. We have been through quite a bit throughout the past 20 weeks, but we made it to the top. When we started in May, the world was no doubtedly a different place. The very profession that we dedicated the last 5 months to achieve has been under harsh judgment, and it is going to take several years before we can gain back what we lost in a matter of moments. With the events that led to such a dramatic change of the organization of law enforcement, we remained strong in our decision to stay in the fight, even though we were given an opportunity to opt out. And that chance came in our 5th week here at the academy. By that time, the cities were on fire, officers were being targeted simply because of the uniform they wore, and the news was covered with the mayhem and chaos that followed. It got to a point where I was worried to leave the academy in uniform for fear of what might happen if someone saw me. A few of you voiced your concerns, as you all have those that you care about. So that Monday, I'm going to apologize. So on that Monday of our 5th week, Coordinator Dr. Damon Ng paused our class this session. He stood before us all and asked us this one question. Do you guys still want to be here today? Because there would be no shame in the person that gathered up all their belongings and left saying, this just isn't for me. Well, not a single one of us moved to gather our stuff. If someone were to ask each and every one of us today as to why we chose to stay, each answer would be different. However, no matter the differences, there is one common denominator in each response, and it's that we had a personal reason for being here. I have watched you all work diligently to fulfill that reason. We've all applied endless hours of studying the laws of the state to give our communities the best that we possibly can. You have devoted long, tired, late nights in preparing yourselves to be successful in being here today, and it paid off. With that being said, the training does not stop here, for it has just begun. As we prepare ourselves for the next portion of our training in FTO, and although it's not going to be easy, I know that if we apply 110% of our efforts to any task before us, we can accomplish it. Out of the several things this academy has ingrained in us, it was to give everything 100%. Not 85 or even 99, but 100. This just wasn't to meet the academy standards, but it was to prove to ourselves that we can do it if we push on through. In the words of our instructor, George, We are not here to train losers or quitters, but we are here to train survivors. And I honestly believe that they accomplish that with each and every one of you guys. I look forward to seeing where you all go in this career, and I know you will be exemplary officers. I thank you guys for the honor it has been to be your lieutenant, but in all reality, we were all there to lead each other, so thank you. So as we leave here today to serve our respective communities, let's be the example of that professional officer. With the events that have unfolded in the past, there is one thing that we know with absolute certainty, and it's that we are held accountable for every single action that we take. Let's remember what this badge on our chest stands for, and let's never disgrace it. For we are no longer just responsible for our individual selves anymore, but we represent the whole law enforcement family now. Let's never forget those who have selflessly sacrificed so much for the freedom that we have to be here today. And let's honor them by striving to be the best that we can be. So as you go out today, always watch your six and serve your citizens along with yourselves with the utmost respect, integrity, and honor. Thank you. Well, Stephenville is unique. It is my greatest honor to present to our Academy coordinator a plaque that we made to dedicate to the Academy's efforts in making us officers.
Strong, solid leadership is an important part of a law enforcement organization. It is also important in the academy environment. To lead in such a setting requires commitment, character, dedication, diligence, desire, motivation, and this list could go on. With that said, it is important that we recognize and show appreciation for those members of Class 200 who served in leadership roles. We would like to recognize the class leaders and present them with the collar brass that they wore during their time in the academy. When I call your name, please come forward. Class Lieutenant Marina Salazar of the Stephenville Police Department. Squad Sergeant and Guidon Kirsten Furin of the Keller Police Department. Now we will recognize members of the class who are receiving individual awards. The Class Leadership Award is presented to the cadet that was selected as the class lieutenant, the senior leadership position in an academy class. In addition to the heavy academic and physical stresses inherent in the academy, this cadet shoulders a substantial responsibility for the well-being and maintenance of their peers. Will Marina Salazar please come forward? For presentation of Class Valedictorian, the Academy's highest academic honor, will Marina Salazar please come forward? For presentation of Class Salutatorian, the second highest academic honor possible, will Kirsten Furin please come forward? Presentation of the award as most physically fit is presented to the graduate that held the best average of all three 2,000-meter rowing tests. Will Kirsten Furin please come forward? The Marksmanship Award is presented to the cadet demonstrating the highest level of proficiency and accuracy during firearms range training. Will Jacob Delgado please come forward? Presentation of honors as the most distinguished recruit is an award given to a cadet who is voted by their peers as having attained the highest level of accomplishment and peer respect as a member of the class. Will Marina Salazar please come forward? No, just have her come stand right here. The Nick Fowler Award is presented by the graduating class to an instructor considered to hallmark the highest traditions of teaching and academic excellence. This award is made in the memory of Irving police officer Nick Fowler. Our award recipient was born in Jacksonville, Florida, where he worked as a corrections officer at age 19. He then moved to Texas and began his law enforcement career in 1983 with the Euless Police Department after graduating from BPOA class number 15 here at Tarrant County College. He is one of the founding members of the department's first SWAT team in 1986. He worked his first of several narcotics assignments in 1987, back when that was a one-man job. Most of his career alternated between criminal investigations and narcotics assignments, with the last three being a 3-year tour with the DEA targeting trafficking organizations. Mike became an instructor in 1994 and began teaching at TCC in 2002. His passion for teaching led him to become our lead firearms trainer. He also teaches several of our tactical courses. Mike has been married since 1992 and is a proud father of a 30-year-old daughter. Please join me in congratulating the winner of the Nick Fowler Award for Class 200, retired Corporal Mike Duff. Congratulations. We will now present the members of the 200th Academy class certificates of completion and the TCC Criminal Justice Training Center Challenge Coin. Challenge coins are carried by soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, as well as lawmen and firefighters. These coins identify the holder as a member of a particular unit with a well-defined history and mission. The Tarrant County College Criminal Justice Training Center has designed our own coin for our Basic Peace Officer Academy graduates. These coins are only awarded to graduates of the Academy. At this time, will the class leader present the members of the 200th Academy class for the awarding of certificates? As I call your name, step forward and congratulations on your success, for yours is a job well done. During their time in the Academy, cadets have had the opportunity to earn achievement award bars. These awards include prior military service, physical fitness, marksmanship, and academic achievement. As each graduate takes the stage, any achievement awards they earned will be noted next to their photograph. I will now call out the cadet's name in alphabetical order, and they will be presented with their graduating diplomas. Officer Jacob Delgado of the Decatur Police Department. Officer Kirsten Furren of the Keller Police Department. Officer Christopher Garcia of the Haltom City Police Department. Officer Maureen Salazar of the Stephenville Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to sincerely thank you for celebrating their accomplishment online. To the graduating class, I want to say congratulations, first of all. This is an amazing accomplishment. You've been through a lot since the beginning of May. As you graduate from the police academy today, you take upon yourself all the responsibilities of a police officer. Remember, above else, that the bottom line of your duty is to protect and serve your community and this great nation. So with this great power comes great responsibility. Remember that. So make me proud. Make the academy proud. Class leader, please conduct the final dismissal.